We're still with presidential candidate former Senator BongBong Marcos in private right here on CNN Philippines. Senator, so if you want to be a father to the nation, people would be interested to know how you lead your own household. Paano po ba ang buhay sa loob ng bahay ng pamilya Marcos?
I don't know. That's the first time I've been asked that question. I don't know how to answer that. Of course, I think we all think it's normal. And I'm sure it's different from everybody else, at least a little bit. But we live the generally very perfectly normal life. Mga anak ko kasi, Sandra's 27, 26, 25. So dikit-dikit sila. So they're just most of the time, most of their past few years has been them studying. So kami lang dalawa nung kami mag-asawa because they studied abroad. So it's wala, simple lang naman ang buhay namin. It's really, with my wife especially, it's all work. She's a lawyer, and as most lawyers do, they work very hard. So does she. And ako naman, of course, when I was in office, as governor, as congressman, a senator, maraming trabaho. So that's really what all you ended up doing.
Disciplinarian po ba kayo? Pinapayagan niyo po ba sila ng late night? Yung puro lalaki no po. Paano po kayo lumalabas?
Yun ang swerte namin, lalaki. So lumaki silang nag-iisa. So nasanay silang nag-iisa. So nung una, may curfew pa Hindi talaga nasusunod. So patras ng curfew. Hanggang finally, sinabi, basta umuwi lang kayo. At saka kung nagsara na, gusto niyo pang magkwentuhan, doon kayo sa bahay para at least alam namin nandun kayo, safe kayo. So we're not strict that way. We're strict about studies. Ang usapan ko sa mga anak ko, basta you get straight A's, you can do anything you want.
Let's talk about your mom.
Yes.
So, former First Lady Imelda Marcos, did she have a say in your decision to run for president this time? Kasi dati, when you were just vice president, she had a lot to say.
Yeah.
Ano po yung naging influence niya? And for her, what does this battle personally mean?
Put it this way. Even my father, I don't think would object if I say she's the supreme politician in the family. My father is the statesman. He's the political genius. He's the all that. Yung mother ko, talagang politika yung makita mo My mother can connect with anyone. From her classmate from I don't know how many years ago to the person working in the palengke to Gaddafi to the Queen of England. Lahat na nagiging kaibigan niya. Anything that happens in politics, we always ask her, what do you think? Is this a good idea? Should we do it like this, or should we wait? Or laging, and I can say that I learn something new every time I talk to my mother, especially yung seryosong usapan na politika. I always learn something new. And so yes, she has always a very big influence on everything. As to deciding to run for the presidency, well, it was, of course, she was part of the pero it wasn't, hindi ko miniting na anong gagawin natin. It's just, every so often, Ma'am, ano kaya? Ano sa palagay mo? Anong tingin mo? Anong basa mo sa sitwasyon? Ang galing niyan Ang galing niyan Alam niya yung, at saka she knows the person and she's seen it all before. So, yes, she's now a little frustrated because pinagbabawalan naming sumama sa rally. Gustong sumama, lalo na pagka yung mga Tacloban, yung mga sa Leyte, yun sabi niya, I can help you with your campaign, kanya. Sabi ko, yes ma'am, but it's COVID pa delikado pa So yun, medyo frustrated siya ng konti when my sisters come and watch a rally or watch may event. Sasabihin nila, alam mo, si Mami tawag ng tawag. Kasi daw yung shirt mo hindi nakabuton o yung mikropono mo hindi ka marinig. Basta marami siyang comment. Talagang siya, very conscious siya sa ganyan. So, yes, she's very, very, very involved in everything that we're doing. But the decision was mine. I really have to say that the decision was mine. Of course, I consulted everyone whose opinions I value.
Talking about the women in your life, Senator, ano po ba ang magiging role ng wife nyo if and when you become president, and also your sister, si Senator Amy?
Well, Amy will be senator for another 3 years. So I'm sure she will continue doing her advocacies and yung mga interests niya at yung mga simulaan niya. I was just discussing this with my wife before coming here. And she teaches kasi. So she considers herself not only a lawyer, but she considers herself a teacher. And she says that she would like to be able to help, even especially, ayaw niya nasa public capacity. She wants to be independent in a sense now. She's working privately to help the educational system somehow. As an example that I said, when I was governor, that's when she started teaching because she said it would be improper for me to practice in the province kasi alam mo na, influence peddling na lang ang mangyayari diyan. So nagturo na lang siya. And basta there were instances na nagpatulong ako sa kanya, lalo na nung pinuntahan ko yung jail namin. Sabi ko, kalahati dyan, dapat hindi nakakulong wala lang abogado yan Kaya nandiyan pa yan. So then, dinala niya yung estudyante niya, they gave free legal advice, all of these things. Marami silang natulungan. So I'm sure it will be something in that vein.
Okay. Yeah. And you have said a few times before, na when you were asked what's the worst mistake or worst quality of your father, na sabi mo, he trusted the wrong people. Pero Senator Amy is saying, ngayon pa lang daw, marami nang nag-o-audition to be a part of your cabinet. So parang, paano po ba kayo magtitiwala, and what will be your basis in choosing the members of your cabinet?
Well, number one is competence. There's no use hiring somebody who's incompetent. Yung willingness to work willing to sacrifice. Because, look, the key to the next administration is going to be the economy. The failure and success of the next will be how we handle the economic situation. Hindi pa naman tayo post-COVID, But as we try to recover, we try to manage COVID, and how do we, and the new world, COVID changed everything. So the managers, the economic managers are going to be key. The best economic managers are in private life. Mayayaman na yan. Ang laki ng kinikita ng mga yan. To have asked them to come into government and to put all their assets in a trust or however the system they're going to use is, and to give up that very how do you say,
lucrative,
successful and life is not an easy thing.
May naisip na po ba kayo ngayon ng mga pangalan?
Another thing, another thing I don't allow myself. But you're right, ang daming nag-audition. Siyempre, I take note of everybody. May mga recommendation yung iba. Si ganito, magaling yan. Si ganito, magaling yan. So you just have to trust your instincts also. And generally speaking, you have to, in my case, I think it's necessary that you have some working experience with that person. Meron na kayong ginawa. Nakita mo na talaga kung paano trumabaho yan. Masipag ba talaga yan? Marunong ba talaga yan? Number one. Number two, yung handang magsakripisyo sa gobyerno. Dahil sakripisyo naman talaga yan. You have to isipin mo, ang ganda-ganda ng buhay na they go to the office, they make $1 million one day, they go home, tapos simple lang, they have a drink, they have dinner, di ba? They go out, watch a movie. Simple lang ang buhay ng mga private businessmen. Ngayon, pasok sila sa araw-araw, binabatikos, araw-araw, kung ano pinagsasabi. Sakripisyo talaga.
Gusto ko lang din balikan ulit itong campaign because we're at the end game of the campaign. And at this point, President Duterte has not yet officially endorsed you, considering you're running with his daughter. How do you feel about that?
I understand. He's the president, and it's a good position for the president to stay above the fray. And I think that I mean, of course, we would love to have him come and campaign for us. And siyempre, yun ang pinaka-advantageous. At kahit papano, what was the last survey satisfaction rating ni PRRD is, 80%. Which means people trust him. Pag sinabi ni Pangulo, sabi niya, ito yung dapat nating iboto, maraming makikinig sa kanya. Kasi may tiwala sila sa kanya, 80% ng tiwala sa kanya. So malaking tulong sana yun. But I can see why, as president, he preferred to be above it all. And just make sure that, which is what he's doing now, is to make sure that the conduct of elections is accountable, is clean, is transparent, etc., etc.
Your opponents, some of them, have warned of destabilization if you become president. Do you think there's basis for that, and how will you deal with possible destabilization attempts should you win?
Put it this way. Should I win, will my supporters destabilize? So if there's going to be destabilization, it will come from them. Not from us, but nanalo na eh. Ba't namin sisirain, di ba? So that's a funny assertion to make by them. Ang manggugulo yan, yung kalaban namin. So sa kanila manggagaling kung sakali man.
Do you see that happening? And
I don't think so. I really don't think so. It's syempre, alam mo, at this stage of the election, at this stage of the campaign, ang dami ng chismis. Si ganito, may gumagalaw yung mga sundalo dito. O yung ganitong grupo, ganito, may ginagawa. So, it becomes yung chismis talagang umiinit. Kasama na rin dyan yung pampagulo na, yan, fake news. Maglalabas ng mga fake news.
The central message of your campaign is unity, but sir, the Marcos name is still very polarizing until now. No? What makes you think and believe that you will be the champion for unification?
I'm not the champion for unification. I'm just saying that unification and the unity is a necessary condition for us to be able to achieve all that we want to achieve. The champion for unity are Filipinos, because Filipinos have it in their heart already to love each other, to love our country. Now, it's just you have to bring to that a leadership na sasabihin, okay, kung talagang gusto niyong tumulong, ito yung gagawin natin. This is your part. You can help us this way. You can help us that way. And we will support you in this way. Pero sabay-sabay tayo, ito yung gagawin natin. Nagkakasundo ba tayo? Magkasundo tayo, ito yung gagawin natin. Yun ang ibig sabihin sa pag pinag-uusapan yung pagkakaisa. Sometimes it's mistaken when I talk about unity, pag pinag-uusapan yung pagkakaisa. Ang interpretation ng iba ay yung sa politika. Kailangan lahat magkasama sa isang partido. Hindi yun ang ibig ko sabihin. Ang ibig ko sabihin, magkaisa tayo, natutulungan natin ang Pilipinas. Tutulungan natin yung ating mga kapwa Pilipino.
Sir, we'll talk about more as to how you're